Hi there, I'm Vita King Blanchard from Rooted Arts, and I have Eric here with me, again, generously acting as model. Today I'm going to talk about just some simple things we can do for shoulders. In my previous videos, I talked about, setting up the body, working on alignment, setting up the space before you get into massage, and the importance of communication. So you'll see Eric and I communicating again a lot today. And just a reminder, it's so important to communicate, especially because we're standing over someone, we're sitting behind someone, we're like physically over someone. And that, along with the act of giving, creates a power dynamic that can just make it harder to voice when things are uncomfortable. So the more that you ask, the better experience it'll be all the way around. So today we're going to be working with some shoulder exercises. I'm going to tilt the camera a little bit more. There we go. So, Eric, I'm going to have you put your arms out into a T. Okay. And I have my hands here to just kind of guide where the T is. And I'm going to straighten and check in. What does that feel like on our 0 to 10 scale?
About a 1.
Okay, so very light. So now I can actually increase the stretch of this by gently pulling out and pushing down. So what does that feel like now?
That's about a 2.
So just a little bit more. This isn't a particularly crazy stretch for his musculature. So I'm just going to hold that for a couple of deep breaths. So go ahead and just take some nice deep breaths and imagine breathing in relaxation and breathing out any tension. And working that way is a way that we can invite our minds to support our bodies in relaxing. Great. Good job. So I'm going to release. You can go ahead and take your arms back down. We're just going to recenter. And this just allows the body a minute time to incorporate the stretch that just happened. So now I'm going to have you go up into a Y. And again, I have my hands up here to kind of guide where the Y is. And what does that feel like for you on that 0 to 10 scale?
About a 2, a 3 on my left shoulder.
So it's a little bit more, and it's more on one side than the other. So what I'm going to do is gently, I'm applying some pressure to pull his arms toward me a little more and to kind of even them out. So on his right arm, I'm pushing slightly down toward the table. And on his left arm, I'm just pulling up toward me. I'm not doing that same depressing down. And what does that feel like now?
About a 3 in my right and about a 4 in my left.
So it's still more on the left side. So I'm going to increase on I'm going to leave it because it looks balanced to me, right? We want to always check in what the alignment looks like, what the effect is going to be. Go ahead and take those 3 deep, slow breaths. And as he's doing this, I can feel his arms releasing and relaxing and the stretch extending. I'm just maintaining my hold, staying in that gentle area, a gentle range. Good. So now I'm going to release. You can go ahead and take your arms back down. Now I'm just checking in on this attachment site of his shoulders. We have a lot of tissue that attaches on our shoulders right here. Really on any bony protrusion, any area where the bone kind of sticks out close to the surface. And we also, our lymph flows really heavily through this area. So sometimes it can feel like water is pooling on the surface of the skin, which the more we touch people with intention, the more in tune we get to feeling like what's what. And so I'm just doing some gentle circles and pumping. So I'm slightly pressing down, doing a circle and releasing to just kind of encourage circulation and support his muscles in this relaxation work that we're doing. And what pressure would you say that is, Eric?
About a 2, maybe 3.
So to me, it feels super light. And that's just another illustration of how subjective touch is, right? And how it can feel very different in different areas. So now we're going to do the third stretch, and I'm going to have you bring your arms up straight over your head. And what does that feel like?
About a 1.
About a 1. So I'm going to have you grab onto my forearms. And I'm going to pull on your arms toward me. And I'm just, again, being conscious of my posture as well, because if I'm uncomfortable, he can't be comfortable. So I'm going to slightly extend the stretch a little bit. And I'm making sure that his elbows are staying bent. I don't want to straighten them out because that'll change where the stretch is. And it'll move it from his shoulders into a different area. What are you feeling right now?
A nice long stretch through my armpit, maybe a 3 in intensity.
Good. So go ahead and take some nice deep breaths. Again, visualizing a release of tension and a welcoming of relaxation. Good, well done. So I'm going to release now gently, and you can go ahead and bring your arms back down. And with all of these, like with the other moves I've demonstrated in the previous videos, you want to be just gentle, right? Gentle in going into a move and gentle in coming out of it, so you don't create like a spring effect where everything bounces back into place, or it does anything jarring for the body. And now I'm just checking back in here, and I can feel a softening of the tissue in this area, especially on his right shoulder. How are you feeling, Eric?
Good, definitely. Looser, more relaxed.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to do some counterpoints along this triangle in the back of his neck, that where his trapezius comes up. Our traps cover a ton of deeper musculature. So I'm going laterally alongside the traps, the trapezius muscle, and just kind of pressing in towards myself. So it'll look like that. And, I have my hands just gently on his shoulders, making sure I'm comfortable and that my spine is straight. I'm just gently putting pressure, each thumb moving toward the other, not going down toward his spine. Because unless you're really familiar with the musculature, I don't really want to do specific work in there. And I'm just following that muscle up with my thumbs, creating that nice pressure. I'm going to switch as I get closer to his head to my fingers because it's more comfortable for me. And what pressure would you say I'm using?
1 or 2.
It's very light. All right. I'm being careful because I don't want to adjust his spine. What I want to do is allow the muscles to release, and that might cause an adjustment and increase alignment. That's the hope. But that's not what I'm doing, right? So now I'm just pulling on his occiput and again, touching all of those neck muscles that attach in that area. And that's our base of the skull in the back. Our occipital bone is where the spine meets the skull. It's right at the base of the skull there. And there are tons of muscles that come up from the front of the neck and the back of the neck and the shoulders and attach in there. So it's a nice place to just visit because the neck and shoulders are so connected. So I'm just going to go back in and check, do a couple more of those slight depression, moving circles. And what does that feel like to you, Eric?
Oh, about a 2.
And that's actually a little lighter than he was experiencing it before, even though I feel like I'm exerting a little bit more pressure than I was before because his body has released, and so it just doesn't feel as hard. So those are some simple things that you can do to work with the shoulders and help them relax and release and support your loved ones at home. Thank you so much for joining us for this video today. Next week, I'll be doing self-massage on the neck at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you there. I love you. I love me. I love us. I'll see you soon.